name is Michael Champion. I'm an independent illustrator from Dallas, Texas. I do celebrity pinup illustrations. I've also done some design and concept work for Stan Lee's Power Entertainment, HBO's Game of Thrones, The Compendium. I was a contributing artist for that, and various work for other celebrities, movie design posters, and so on and so forth. Up until this week, it was the Jon Snow over here. That was the one that got picked by HBO to be in the Game of Thrones book. But this week I finished up the Kylo Ren, and I'm very proud of how that one came out. You know, it's usually the newest piece ends up being my favorite immediately, and then I may drift back to, yeah, but I really like that one. That one was my favorite. You know, but those two are running neck and neck right now. I started drawing before I could read and write, and I got into the convention scene about 7 years ago. I was in retail advertising, and my advertising department got outsourced. And right before that happened, a buddy of mine had just started coloring comic books professionally, and he suggested I come out to the convention and try things out. And so that kind of happened right as I lost the real job, and it just kind of snowballed into me doing it full time. And I've been doing it for about 7 years now, 20 to 30 shows a year all over the country. Oh yeah, it's Game of Thrones. I started reading the books about 17 years ago, and was a big fan of the books. And then when the TV show came out, I was so happy with what they did with it. You know, not just the casting and everything like that, but visually, as an artist, I love that show. And the first piece I did from that was Ned Stark. And I did it not because I thought it was going to sell good at conventions, because that was, you know, season 1. So it wasn't quite the juggernaut that it is now. But I did it just for me, and it went over really good. And the Ned Stark piece kind of became my signature piece for a while. And it still kind of is, but I think with the popularity of Jon Snow in the show, Jon Snow has kind of supplanted his father as being my signature piece. Somebody I've interacted with a couple of times, Manu Bennett, was at Salt Lake City Comic-Con. It was in one of the VIP after hours parties. And it was the first year for the show, and the show was really successful. It had exceeded attendance expectations. So everybody was just in a really good celebratory mood. And I was at the bar trying to get the attention of the bartender. And somebody come up behind me, put his hand on my shoulder and said, "Hey mate, you want to do a Jaeger bomb?" And I turned around and it was Crixus from Spartacus. And I was like, "Hell yeah, I'll do a Jaeger bomb with you." And so we did some shots, and he just, you know, was a really good dude. I've met him at a couple of other shows. He's just really giving of his fans. But that night, after we did a couple of shots, he bought a round of shots for everybody in the bar and did a toast. And it was like the coolest moment of my life, because I felt like we were gladiators, just walked off the sands of the arena, and here the champion of Capua was toasting the victorious gladiators. That's probably the coolest moment I've had. Standard, you know, draw every day, draw anything, draw everything. But really focus on what you like to draw, as opposed to what you think is going to be hot and popular. Because what's hot and popular may not necessarily be what you're into. And the pieces that you're into, you're going to put so much more heart and soul into it. By that same token, you know, if you want to do it professionally, you've got to do stuff that's going to be commercially viable. But you also got to get used to drawing mundane stuff. Like if you want to draw comic books, not everything is a big splash action page. You know, you've got to get used to drawing conversations between people and make it look interesting. If you want to do, celebrity portrait work, you've got to get really good at drawing likenesses. If you just want to draw for fun, draw for fun, but draw every day. This is a great time to learn, because we've got access to the internet and this little thing called YouTube. There's all kinds of how-to videos on YouTube on how to perfect your technique and how to use tools. But developing your own style is key. You don't want to be the copy of somebody else, because then you'll only be known as the copy of somebody else. Hey, that guy draws like him, you know. So you definitely want to develop your own style. You can check me out at michaelchampion.net. I've got a lot of good projects coming up this year. And that's about it.